Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning for our 15th annual Friends Annual Membership Meeting. Donna Gibson, the Executive Director for the Friends of Flight 93, and with me this morning is Courtney Olzak, who is our Communication and Special Events Coordinator, and Dave Finyu, who is our Friends Board President. And also joining us this morning will be Stephen Clark, Superintendent of the WEPA Parks. So I'll just give you a little overview of how this morning will go. We will have a video recap of the highlights from 2024, and then we will move into the agenda for the meeting. Dave will be so gracious to thank our outgoing board members. We will welcome our new board members, and then we'll have an update from Stephen Clark on the National Park Service, and we'll look at financials and then projects that we will be engaging in on your behalf in 2025. So a lot to cover this morning, and we're just really excited. We have a very diverse audience this morning. We've got Friends members, we have family members, we have donors and supporters, and we also have many of our board members on the call this morning. So if throughout the presentation you have questions, you can enter them in the chat. And then what we will do is we will address those during the question and answer period at the end of our presentation. So just enter your questions in the chat. We'll answer them when we get to the end of the presentation. So with that being said, I'm going to have Courtney, who has been responsible for putting together our 2024 highlight video. I'm going to have Courtney start the video, and so it's about 12 minutes. So I hope you enjoy seeing what we put together for you this morning. I'd like to introduce to you David Finu, and David is our incoming and our new board president as of 2025. Dave has been on the board for 6 years and has been active as our treasurer. And this morning, Dave is going to do a introduction of the outgoing board members and then also talk about our incoming board members. So welcome, Dave. Congratulations on your new position. We're excited to have you as part of the Friends leadership team.
Thank you very much, Donna and Courtney. Thank you. Great presentation. I want to say good morning and welcome to everybody that's joining us today. Thank you for your membership. Thank you for your support and interest. It is a pleasure and an honor for me to be your incoming president of the board for this year. And I've got some really big shoes to fill. As I talk about the outgoing board members, I want to thank our past president, Fred Lukashinsky. Fred did a fabulous job. I hope I can do half as good as you did, Fred. I know I can count on your support. So with that, I'd like to recognize the outgoing board members. As I just mentioned, Fred Lukashinsky, thank you very much. Jody Green, Ed Sheehan, and Tom Rooney. Their support and effort and work for everything that they did over the last several years is greatly appreciated. So I want to say thank you to all of you. And I know we can count on your continued support into the future. I'd like to recognize also now the honor of the new board members that are joining us. We have 6 new board members this year. Grace Markham. Grace is the president of High Impact 2 and a local resident. Brett Miller, major gifts officer at Seton Hill University. Ken Nackey, a family member. And we have 3 family members now on the board. So Ken, thank you for joining us. And Ken is retired. Patrick Neff, a teacher and instructor at Bedford High School. David Scopa from FedEx Ground. And Tanya Saint-Amant from a principal at Franklin Regional Middle School. Having said that, I just want to take a second and recognize all of those people that are continuing on as board members: Francis de Blasio, Soren Fanning, Stacy Heisenrader, Emily Schenkel, a family member, and Christopher Whalen, a family member. So it's great to have 3 family members on our board. I think you can see too from the resumes, and you can look those up on our website. We have a very, very strong board. The incoming members are strong. The existing members are extremely strong, and they have a great interest in all of this. So I wanted to say thank you for that. The officers, moving on to the officers, this year's officers, board members. Myself as president, Matt Wilson, financial advisor, as is our vice president, and Matt and I have been in contact several times already this year and working to get the board organized. And our new secretary, Adam Rogers, BSA officer at First Summit Bank. And thank you very much for all of those. So those are the incoming officers. Currently, we're going to be forming our new committees as we go into this year. We have a huge responsibility to support Flight 93 memory and the National Park Service. This year is the 24th anniversary. September 11th will be the 24th anniversary of Flight 93 and 9/11. And as it gets further and further along, people start to forget how important it was. And the Friends of Flight 93, you saw the 3 visions that we work toward. And one of those is the educational outreach, making sure that people don't forget what those heroes, the 40 heroes, did on September 11th. and saving our freedom. I really appreciate the fact that all of you are still continuing to support the Friends of Flight 93 and the National Memorial. Knowing that this is the year of the 24th anniversary, and being a math major, I understand now that next year is the 25th anniversary. And the 25th anniversary is going to be in conjunction with the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. So it is going to be an extremely important year, 2026 next year. And plans are well underway for what the Friends and what the National Park Service is going to be doing at the National Memorial Site of Flight 93. Now, I just want to say thank you again to everybody. I want to say thank you to Donna and Courtney for putting this program all together. And it is my honor now to introduce the next speaker, Stephen Clark, Superintendent of the Park Service.
All right. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. Tremendous summary. I've been looking forward to this presentation and this meeting ever since Donna and Courtney called it, gosh, maybe 2 months ago. But what I wanted to do is just kind of have a collection of updates about the park, as well as some things that are in the mix, in the queue, so to speak. You saw an awful lot of information in the video about the resiliency project, so I'll touch on that, what that is. I know Donna's going to touch on it as well, but from my perspective, I just wanted to give an overall summary. But like Donna and Dave mentioned, folks, thank you so much for all that you do. The past board members, from the family perspective, I think I counted both Debbie and Pat, Debbie Bors and Pat White on the call, which is always special to have members of the families, not only on the board directly involved with the memorial, but just pretty much day in and day out, always by my side and helping when unusual circumstances come up. They help guide me with doing the right thing and making the right decisions. And again, I'm so grateful to all the family members who have been so instrumental in the success of this memorial, literally since September 11, 2001. Certainly, a board is only as good as its members, and the same thing with any organization. And as I like to use the word relevancy, with now Dave, he and I and Christina, as I'll mention here in a minute, and Donna, we shared a beautiful lunch the other day in Johnstown. Got to know Dave a little bit. 70 years young. Dave, you're incredible. And with your background and your story about 9/11 was really inspirational, sir, and I really appreciated that. And of course to Courtney, Donna and the board always tout Courtney and how much of a treasure she is, and she is. She doesn't say a whole lot, and all jokes aside, but she's so talented and just such a beautiful person, and we're really blessed to have Courtney. So Courtney, just wanted to thank you very, very much. I've been with the Park Service now 40 years, 40. And I've been at Flight 93 and WEPA Parks, if you can believe it, it'll be 10 years next month. I just cannot emphasize the fact of how much I love these parks. My office is at Flight 93. That's where I spend most of my time. Without getting into too much, over the years, I've had other opportunities, even promotions that I didn't even put in for, and I turned every one of them down. And I don't say that as in a braggadocious manner. I say that because, especially Flight 93, what it stands for, the partnerships that have been forged over these many years, is something that you just don't walk away from. And so I am truly blessed and honored to do the things that I'm able to do with our staff. But I wanted to get back to succession planning. Many of you, just looking at the bios, many of you are in business, not only in business, but are CEOs and leaders of companies and organizations and so forth. And is there anything more important? Just like Fred, set up Dave, and for success, it's all about succession planning. And I just wanted to mention Christina Melgar. As I understand, when Christina signed on this morning with Zoom, it didn't allow her to have either voice or video. But I just wanted to mention,
Steve, hold on one second. We are pulling her in as a speaker.
Oh,
She
terrific.
she wasn't on the speaker panel, so we've just pulled her in.
Oh,
So
great. Thanks, Donna.
yeah.
So I just wanted to mention Christina Melgar, a United States Air Force veteran, an incredible human being, and I selected her this past October as the acting deputy superintendent for up to a 4-year period. So without getting into the ins and outs of federal employment and temporary promotions and so forth, I just there she is. I just wanted to introduce Christina. Many of you know her, even though she's the regular administrative officer. Every national park unit has an AO, as we call them. But Christina is a little bit different type of AO, very operationally based. And Christina, ma'am, is there anything you'd like to share with this awesome group?
I just want to say good morning, and I just want to say it's an honor to basically what you said, Steve. It's an honor to have the friends here to work with them in everything they do, and how grateful on our end wearing the patch, how grateful we are and how many things we can accomplish because they're with us, they're by our side, always willing to help, always willing to, they're a part of the family. You all are a part of the family. And we're always so grateful for this relationship and everything we accomplish together. And it's truly my honor to be a part of this. So thank you, Steve.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
Donna.
Thank you, Christina. You're top notch. Speaking of friends groups, I deal a lot with other friends groups. I just took a call Thursday, just a couple of days ago, from the superintendent at the USS Arizona, the War in the Pacific, and his friends group. Tom Leatherman is his name. His friends group is in the process of raising significant amount of money for a new visitor center and a new visitor experience. And the reason he called me was it keeps coming up in their circle with the friends and the Park Service and that partnership. He said Flight 93 continues to come into the conversation virtually everywhere he goes. So he called me, and both the executive director of Pearl Harbor, that Park Service unit, and the superintendent will actually be traveling to New York and to Flight 93 in April. And you can be assured that Donna and Dave don't even know this, but now they do. But I guess the point there is how well respected this partnership is across the service, even out into the Pacific. So I was really honored. I know Tom from years back, but I look forward to hosting Tom with our team and certainly with the friends right there along my side and Christina's side coming up in April. Just a couple operational updates. We've all been very frustrated, probably nobody more than me, about the Learning Center, but I am happy to report that thanks to our leadership in Washington, almost $2 million to get that building back in operation. And as of October of last year, it's back online, and we're slowly doing more programs and presentations with children and so forth. So you'll notice a little bit of a different footprint. In essence, they put 9 poles, or kind of beams, if you would, to hold up the 14-inch solid concrete roof, as I understand it. But at any rate, without getting again into too many details, the good news is the Learning Center is back online. I touched on the resiliency project, and when you hear that and see that beautiful image and that icon with the tree and the branches going down into the soil, that's the outward name, the resiliency project. That's where the friends reach out to partners for donations and things of that nature, grants. But internal to the Park Service, we coined the phrase GA64. And I want you all to understand how we came to that, but it's an acronym for GA, meaning the Groves and the LA. So Groves and the LA, and then -64. So where the 64 comes in is that it's exactly 40 years from 2024 to understand that there were mistakes made, no question about it, about planting of certain groves as well as the LA with those red maples. As they say, you can't unscramble an egg. What's done is done. I'm not looking back, but the fact is that we pulled almost 800 trees from the memorial groves. They're just gone. And so what we're going to do is take our time, hence the 2064 year, because this is going to take decades to get it right. I hate that expression. It is what it is, but it is what it is. So we're going to evaluate with the highest level of expertise, not only in the Park Service, but at Penn State University, arborists, and we're going to take our time, work on the funding, both internally and externally, and look at the project of GA64 / the resiliency project, outward facing, to make it right. And when you looked at some of the mistakes and kind of the hurry up to get it done, I mean, folks, those trees were competing with rocks the size of stop signs and so forth. So I'm not blaming anyone. The fact is, we're here now, we're solving the problem, and a lot of this will be completed thanks to the Friends of Flight 93 and the board's leadership to help us with that. The 9/11 trail, I know Debbie's on, God bless you, Debbie. But Debbie's on the board, as I am, of the 9/11 trail, which for those of you that may not know, it's a 1,500-mile trail that President Biden signed back in 2021, October of 21, to basically have a trail linking the 3 attack sites. It goes through 18 national park units, 3 of which are in the Western Pennsylvania parks, Allegheny Portage, Johnstown Flood, and of course, Flight 93. And I'm happy to report, you saw a little bit in that video, that we did celebrate the dedication of the alignment at Flight 93. So when you hear about the 9/11 trail, just know that it's well underway, but it's literally years off for the entire alignment to be completed, but tremendous progress being made on the 9/11 trail front. Donna touched on the 24th observance coming up in a few months. There's no question that it will mirror what we did as a unit last year and the year before. But I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that the 25th anniversary is well underway for the observance of planning, speakers, music, and without question, it will go back to the traditional observance ceremony that we've had for many years. So please know that we're well underway with funding, both internally, and I know Donna's helping and with the Friends group. But the point is that we don't look at the 25th as any more important than the 24th. Like family members remind me all the time, it still hurts regardless of how many years it's been. But I just want you all to know that planning for both the 24th and the 25th is well underway. I wanted to mention the Tower of Voices. I think we all can recall the frustration back in 2017 and 18. Nobody more than Mr. Pat White. Pat, I hope you're smiling at this moment. But, you know, we've come a long way with the tower, and I'm so proud of the visitation to the Tower of Voices. It's an incredible footprint that visitors truly enjoy. And I just want you to know that although now in the winter we put a bike rack around the base of the tower because of snow and ice, we can't have visitors, you know, going into the chamber and ice and what have you falling. But we engaged with a 5-year contract for Evan Collier, who owns Arch in New York, who actually completed the fabrication of each of those chime assemblies. So we pay for Evan to come in the spring and the fall, do inspections to make sure they're safe and so forth. And we're right underway now to extend that for another 5 years and beyond to ensure that the Tower of Voices, with those roughly 130 components for each assembly, is safe and operating correctly. So I love the Tower of Voices. in so many ways. And I just wanted to give you a little inside baseball about the inspection and how we're continuing to work to make that better. I want to also mention that, you look at Flight 93 and we have a significant number of neighbors. We have Patriot Park, the Remember Me Rose Garden, Camp Allegheny, Gamelands 93, of course, the Friends of Flight 93, the 9/11 Trail, and the National Park Service. So I thought not too long ago, sometimes there's a lot of disconnect. And it's not a competition per se, but my thought was, let's bring all of these entities together. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So on April 9th, I will be facilitating a meeting with all those important groups to see how we can work maybe more collaboratively, certain things we can't do and so forth. But for instance, other organizations want me to put brochures on the desk and things of that nature. And there are certain things that I can't do, but the collaboration and the understanding of each other's missions is really, really important. And I did forget the chapel. So just understanding where everybody is as neighbors, I think that will be very successful. Let's see here. And the last thing I'll say, and I hope I didn't go over, Donna, but I just want you all to know that because of Christina and other leadership within the WEPA Parks, folks, I have a tremendous opportunity to go anywhere to fulfill the mission of the National Park Service and certainly Flight 93. Not too long, last month, I actually did a program for U.S. Attorney's Office in Pittsburgh. I had over 200 U.S. attorneys and so forth. They asked me to come in and talk about Flight 93. I'll be traveling to Seattle in June for a keynote speech with FirstNet and how integral FirstNet is to first responders. I routinely do programs for the CIA, the FBI, DHS, state police, and many, many more. The reason I mention this is because no matter where you are, just let me know if there's ever an opportunity where you'd like for me to come in and do a presentation about Flight 93 to your group, whether it's a Rotary or something of that sort. I just want you to know that no fee, zero. And I just want you all to know that I work and our staff work for all of you and the American people. And there's nothing more important to me than presenting the story of 9/11 and specifically the story of the 40 heroes on that airplane. And I just wanted to put that out there as a way of saying thank you. So if you're interested, certainly folks know how to get a hold of me and just call me directly, email me directly, and I'd be happy to talk specifics with all of you when your group, if you'd like to have that opportunity. So with that, Donna, I would be happy to take any questions. I will, if it's okay, stay on for the entire meeting and continue to learn about what's going on with the Friends group. And again, thank you for this opportunity. Christina, thank you for sharing a few words. And Dave, like you said, you do have big shoes to fill with Deacon Fred, but I know he set you up for success. And again, I look forward to working more closely with you, sir, and the entire board. And again, thank you everyone for coming together on this beautiful Saturday morning.
Thanks, Steve. And again, we're going to ask anybody, if you have questions, please put them in the chat, and then we will address them at the end of the program. So thank you, Steve, for your presentation. And now we will move on to looking forward. We're going to start out with the finances. These are unaudited financials from 2024. So just as in our 5-year trend, we had total income of 2.8 million, total expenses 513, net assets at the beginning of the year 2.025, net assets at the end of the year 4.3 million. So you're probably wondering, how did the Friends get $2 million? So what had happened last year is actually it happened in 2023. And we received the funds in the beginning of the fiscal year, so in October. So during the campaign to build the memorial, the National Park Foundation raised over $65 million. There was still $2 million in that fund being held at the National Park Service on behalf of Flight 93 National Memorial. And so when the park needed money, we needed to submit a grant application to the National Park Foundation for those funds. And so a series of events, they had some audits. The audit said, why are you holding this money? This should go to the organization that manages the nonprofit segment of the Park Service. So on October 1st, we received the $2 million. With the board direction, we looked for a management company that would manage those funds. So we have 1.5 million in an endowment fund, and we also have 500,000 that is more liquid. And the reason for keeping $500,000 of that liquid is in case the Park Service would have the need for something that we could help them out with those funds. So the money is basically for the Park Service, for mostly construction and those kinds of activities. So those are the financials. Again, these are unaudited, so we will be going through the audit this year, and we will have those audited financials for next year's program. So looking forward, I'm going to give you just some of the few accomplishments that we've had here already this year. So we were invited to the Friends and the National Park Service were invited to present the National Day of Learning program at the PA State Teachers Conference. So Adam Schaefer and I presented there. It was a great honor to be able to be in attendance with all of those educators, gave us some good exposure. We created a Friends Board orientation program for new board members. We held our first session this November with all of our incoming board members. And we also had some of our officers join us, which was really great to have that interaction between current board members and new board members. So in collaboration with the Park Service, we co-hosted a press conference for the Resiliency Project. From that press conference, we had quite a bit of exposure, both regionally and nationally. So it was a great experience to have the people from the Olmsted Center actually educate the press and the media about why this project is so important at Flight 93. And in conjunction with that press conference, we launched the Resiliency Project campaign. That campaign, our commitment to the National Park Service is to raise $100,000 a year over 10 years to support this effort. We're also waiting to get the specifics and the potential cost for an irrigation system. And once that is received by the Park Service, the Friends will look for funders who would give us a grant to be able to install an irrigation system so that the trees have more of a chance of living. We're working on creating a dashboard which we could share with our board and also our members. And what it would be is a quarterly quick look of all of the things that the Friends have accomplished through social media, our website. You saw that through our tourism grant in 2024. We were able to get an upgrade to our website. I hope that you take the opportunity to look at our website. I believe that we've organized it so it's much easier to navigate. So what's the common 2025? So our three main focuses with the Friends is education, environmental stewardship, and visitation. And one of the things I was thinking about as we were preparing for this presentation is Education is really at the core of everything we do. If you look at what the Friends do, we are always educating people about the story of the 40 heroes. We're educating people about the Park Service. We are looking to that next generation. And, we now have parents who are having students, or we have parents having children, and those parents don't have a living memory of what happened here on 9/11. We find that every year it gets even more and more challenging because even the visitors that come to the National Park Service, we're finding more and more visitors that have no living memory. So what we look forward to doing in 2025 is looking for opportunities to further engage the 957 Project and the Gary Sinise Foundation. Both of those organizations have been very engaged bringing students to the memorial that would never have the opportunity to come here otherwise. The Gary Sinise Foundation is also very active in supporting us with our National Day of Learning. We'll continue to administer the EITC Education Scholarship for Ranger Guided Field Trips. This is where we get funds. So the EITC program is is sponsored by the Department of Economic Development in Pennsylvania. So businesses and individuals can apply through the state to become a donor, an EITC donor. And then Friends actually have to register to be an education improvement organization. So we have specific curriculum for grades 4 through 12 that's been approved through the state. And so that provides us with the opportunity to get this funding. And then we sponsor scholarships for schools who apply. And most of the schools that get the funding are in schools that are in low to moderate income neighborhoods. In partnership with the National Park Service, we want to engage education partners to provide feedback on enhancements to the National Day of Learning curriculum. So we're in our second year. We're continually looking to receive feedback on ways in which we can improve our programming. We also will be continuing to find sources to fund the National Day of Learning. Interestingly enough, this platform, the Zoom platform, is what we use for the education because it provides us with the opportunity to have up to 3,000 schools participate. But this platform in itself is $17,000, and that's at a discounted rate. Initially, our quote was 25,000. So it is quite an expensive endeavor. However, when you think of the number of students that we're actually able to reach through this platform and engage with, it's really not all that expensive. We'll begin working on the 25th anniversary funding for enhanced education programming and also for programming that will be held here for the observance ceremony on the 25th. We will look for opportunities to host Friends connections. We have a lineup of things that we want to share that we feel will be educational for our communities at large. So look for those events in upcoming emails. For environmental stewardship, we are already working in partnership with the National Park Service to host a Friends Day of Caring. What that is we generally find a project that needs to be done. We engage volunteers from the communities. We've ended up having a really fantastic following of business partners who sponsor the day and then bring a team out here, and they look forward to it. In fact, we've had 3 teams already call and say, what is the date? We want to put it on our calendar so we don't miss it. So it's a great activity and way to engage the community. So we also, in partnership with the National Park Service, host the Arbor Day project. And what that is you saw from last year, we have groups of businesses that bring their talent to the memorial to help us do work that could cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it really saves money, not only for the Park Service, but also the Friends, that we have this fantastic resource to help us. We'll continue to look for funding opportunities for the resiliency project. Again, like I said, we have a commitment for raising $100,000 a year to help with the planting of trees. But we also have the commitment that once it's decided on an irrigation system, that we would help to fund that as well. We'll continually collaborate with the National Park Service to identify environmental projects. So if any of you haven't picked up on this already, it is a total collaboration on all fronts with the National Park Service to make sure that we are honoring the memory of the 40 passengers and crew members and making this site a place where people can come and reflect and feel good about what we're doing here. So for visitation, we will continue with our billboards, print ads that we do in metropolitan areas within a driving distance of the park. We'll continue to do our video or our visitor guide advertising in Go Laurel Highlands. We do Cambria County, and we also do Bedford County. New this year, we are going to create and execute a digital marketing campaign. And part of the reason that we're doing that is over the years, a lot of our donor base has started to dwindle. Many of those people gave during the initial campaign hosted by the National Park Foundation. Many of those individuals are passing on. So we need to create a new generation of supporters and promoters who will come to Flight 93, become engaged in the story, and want to do more to help be a steward for this park. We also are working with the National Park Service to host events with regional chambers and tourism organizations to promote the features of Flight 93 National Memorial and how we honor the 40 passenger and crew members. It's amazing as I'm out in the community and talk to people, they have no idea what we have here. Yet we get visitors from all over the world who have heard about Flight 93 and want to come here. So we want to make sure that we engage our regional representatives so that they can understand what we do and help us in promoting visitation to Flight 93 National Memorial. So some of the other projects, so we'll continue to ensure there's funding for projects and programs. We'll look for opportunities for this year's Heroes Walks. Pints for Park will be moved to the spring in conjunction with National Park Week, National Volunteer Week, and Earth Day celebrations. And the reason that we're doing that is we've held the event in the fall every year in conjunction with National Lands Day. And so what some of our attendees were telling us last year is September's kind of at the end of all of the festivals and all of the activities that go on in the weekend, that they thought if we did it earlier in the year, we would capture more attendance because people wouldn't be burnt out on festivals. So this year, we're going to look for doing it in the spring and see if that brings us more participation. It's a great way to interact with the community. We have entertainers who basically donate their time. They play music. We have families that come listen to the music and learn about Flight 93 and the Friends. We generally always generate a good group of new members also for the Friends from that event. Again, plans for the 25th anniversary and America's 250th anniversary. The Park Service and myself are working with Somerset County for the 250th celebration and looking for ways in which the park and the Friends can support that, while at the same time developing plans for what we will do to honor and remember the 40 passenger and crew members during the 25th observance. So now, and I just want to mention one other person, because Adam Rogers is one of our newer board members as well, and he kind of slid it in with an open position. So he didn't get lumped into our new board members that just came on in this fall. But Adam is an officer for us. And, his first activity that we hosted after he became a board member, Adam took the initiative of putting together a team to bring out to the memorial to walk in the Heroes Walk. In addition to that, he also sponsored a Jean Day at his company where people who may not have wanted to walk could donate a fee, a donation, and then they got to wear jeans that day. So I really wanted to make sure that I acknowledged Adam as one of our new board members, and we're really excited to have him as an officer for our organization. So with that, if you want to put your questions in the chat, we will start opening up for questions. Come on, we weren't that good. Somebody has to have what is the date for the 2025 Day of Caring as well as Friends Under the Stars? Okay, good question. So the 2025 Day of Caring will be April 24th. April 24th. Courtney's checking my date here. April 25th. So it will be April 25th, which is a Friday. And Friends Under the Stars has not been scheduled yet. We generally will wait for our astronomy group to tell us what dates are going to be able to, they'll be able to come, that we will have some kind of exciting opportunity for our visitors. And yeah, thanks for mentioning Friends Under the Stars. That has been a great collaboration with the Park Service. Last year, the Rangers put together this exciting activity that had both young and older participants participating in it. And our astronomy groups were able to have a great night. We had a clear night. The stars were just wonderful. So thank you for mentioning that. And as soon as we have a date, we will let our members know. So Melinda, the Arbor Day project is basically just for arborists who are certified in doing arborist work. So that is going to be on April 18th, but it'll basically be for the arborists who dedicate their time and bring their work crews out to do the really specialized work. And thank you, Dave, for your comment about the great video. And he wants to know who Steve Clark is picking to win the Super Bowl.
Wow. Being born and raised true Philadelphian, it would be the Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds. This year we got Mahomes, I'm telling you.
Okay. Looks like Arbor Day and Day of Caring both. No. Arbor Day is on 4/18 is the date for that event, and the Day of Caring is on 4/25. Thank you, Melinda. We look forward to seeing Mid-Penn Bank in our programs as well. Thank you for your support. Mid-Penn Bank is one of our EITC supporters, so they've been great friends to the memorial. And just as Steve has mentioned, I too am available to go out and do presentations for groups, for organizations. This coming Friday, I'm doing the Somerset Rotary Group. So if any of you have opportunities for me to go out and talk about the work of the Friends or education initiatives, I think the education initiatives are just great events. So Brenda is asking if Pints and Reforestation, April 25th and 26th. That is correct. So Reforestation is no longer Reforestation. It is Friends Day of Caring, and that will be April 25th. And April 26th will be Pints for Parks. Thank you, Brenda.
Donna, I see a question in the Q&A as well
Yep. Where is?
about, is there an update about the possibility of getting to hear the chimes at a lower wind speed? That would be for Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. Thank you, Dave. I would answer it this way, that we do have a program or a project in the queue with Region to basically look at each chime assembly, because right now it takes anywhere from 12 to 15 miles an hour to activate a strike. And so often visitors come to the memorial to hear the chimes, and there's not sufficient wind to activate the chime assembly. So without question, I mentioned Evan Collier. He owns the company Arch in New York City, and he swears and he guarantees, because he built the chimes, that he can take that 12 to 15 down to 3 to 5. But it's going to cost about $500,000 to do every single chime, to look at the universal joints and other type of key components to, quote, loosen it up while not sacrificing safety. So we do have a project in with the federal government in the Park Services queue. Before King Laughlin left NPF, he was really excited, and you all know King. He doesn't get too excited about a lot of things outwardly, but he called me and he said at one point that an individual that he knows who became a billionaire overnight when he sold a music company was interested in pledging 600 grand to do that in a way that it wouldn't be federal funds. So now that King is no longer in that position, and the National Park Foundation is somewhat detached, if that's even possible, as an official partner, which they initiated. I don't know, even talking with Jeff Reinbold, who's now the CEO there for the Park Foundation, but it's still in the mix, folks. And it's a very important priority to try and reduce that velocity to 3 to 5 as opposed to the 12 to 15. So that's how I would answer that question.
So Paul asks for suggestions for good ways for supporters outside of Western Pennsylvania to help. So great question, Paul, and thank you for asking that. I think one of the ways in which you can help is to talk about our educational initiatives. If you have ways or connections in schools, you can send the connection to me. I would be happy to pick up the phone and talk to them. If they're in Pennsylvania, they would qualify for EIT scholarships. If they're not inside of not in Pennsylvania, we all have our Friends National Day of Learning that we would welcome all the schools to be able to participate. So that's one of the ways. The Friends have just completed a pamphlet that we're having printed now. And it was kind of one of our board members said, hey, like, can you give me like talking points of what are the main things that the Friends do? So we are having those produced as we speak. So Paul, if you would like to have some of those, please let us know and we can mail them out to you, and you can share those with people that you may know outside of Pennsylvania, which talks about the things that the Friends do and ways in which they can support us. So the Heroes Walk will be the Saturday after September 11th. So I have to look at that. So September 11th is on a Thursday. The Heroes Walk will be September 13th this year. So the flag placing project is not a Friends project. It is a Chamber and Uptown Works project. So unfortunately, I don't have the dates for that. We usually find out about a week in advance of when they're doing it. And fortunately, we have some fantastic volunteers who join us and help us with that project. So any other questions, thoughts, comments? Okay, going once. All right, so the other thing that if you're outside of Western Pennsylvania, and Courtney just put up the following us, so share our posts. Like if you are a follower on Facebook or LinkedIn or any of our other social media channels, when you see our posts, share them. Every time you share them, that increases our visibility to a new audience. So it's always very, very appreciative when people share our posts. Okay, and again, apologies for the talking in the first part of the video. I didn't realize my microphone was not on, and we were trying to get ourselves situated for the next step in the presentation. So again, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate each and every one of you and would not be able to do what we do without your support and your participation. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We are just grateful to be here and to be supporting this national park and keeping the story of the 40 passenger and crew members alive for generations to come. So thank you.
Thanks to Donna and Courtney. Thank you for all your hard work. And,
Thanks, Dave.
and it was a great presentation. Thank you. And thanks to the Park Service, Stephen and Christina. Thank you very much for your updates. I look forward to working with all of you and all of your staff.
Thanks, Dave. And go out and enjoy the sunshine today. It's beautiful. Have a great day, everyone.